ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। यथाग्नेर्दाहिका शक्तिः रामकृष्णे स्थिता हिया सर्वविद्यास्वरूपां तां शारदां प्रणमाम्यहम्। नमः श्रीयतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे। Namaste to you all. Yes. My love and blessings. We'll begin. The thing is, everything is going on well in our region here, Udupi district, and not even a single case around anywhere, and the government has relaxed all the activities to regain and movements to be normal from 7 to 7 everywhere. And Karkal, that's a Shimoga regions, and all around except Mangalore, all are safe regions around, and district to district nothing is allowed, and we are finding comfortable atmosphere here, though we are getting the news of the other countries here, there, and in India itself many places. And ashrama also is as usual. Internally everything is normally going on, and I think with the extended period of another fortnight we'll be able to open the gates for all. Now a few during the daytime may come and bow down and go, but regular coming, I think we may have to wait for another fortnight. So that is the condition, and we will start our this one with the recapitulation of the last class. The sages declared the ultimate conclusion as the whole universe as projection of the one power, which is active, dynamic and conscious power. This one we saw last time, and this power belongs to the absolute existence, the Satchidananda Sagara, Ananda Sagara. Satya, Satya, it exists, existence, pure existence. That's why in Hinduism the question doesn't come any time, does God exist? Because existence is God. What exists you have to see. Existence is, because existence is God, the question doesn't come whether God exists or not. Existence itself, Satya, Chitta, Ananda, it is consciousness. This ocean, this power belongs to that ocean of consciousness, Chaitanya Sagara. As we go deeper and deeper, we will be able to conceive something, though it is beyond intellect. Still, in spite of that, we will be able to, the sixth sense will grow within you to identify, yes, it is there, it is there. I am not able to understand, I am not able to reach, I am not able to catch it, but it is there. That understanding, myself, independent of my bodily existence, I exist. This, somebody was a few days back was telling, I didn't know, I forget, I am terribly afraid of death. Why that? Because that person is doing sadhana from long time, And one thing that clinging to life, Abhinivesh, it's called in Patanjali Yoga Sutra, Abhinivesh, that the clinging to life, clinging to bodily existence is there because we are afraid of death, because we do not know where we are going after the leaving body. If we know where are we going after body, leaving the body, then we have no problem at all. When the people are going to different countries, US, UK and all that, parents or nobody is worried. They know where they are going. So like that, we don't know where we are going after the leaving the body. If we know that, if there is long back, when I was in Bangalore, I just joined as a brahmachari. One Swamiji called me and told, the day I leave my body, I am going to the Holy Mother's feet. I'll be on her lap the moment I leave the body. With what confidence and what understanding? Means it's a awareness, you see, it is a realization. Till we are realizing our spiritual existence independent of our bodily existence, we won't be able to tell with authority and with final confirmation, conviction that where I am going to go. Once we understand our existence independent of body, immediately we will not cling to this body. Oh, what for I have to hold on to this body? It feels like being in jail. That is what we find in this. Now, that's what we saw. This power which manifests as universe belongs to thee. Then we saw how the creation comes and cyclic it goes. It projects time and space, whole universe comes, millions of years it expands, optimum, contracts again, dissolves again. This we saw last time, and just like a magician's basket, everything comes out of it. He will throw one by one birds, this, that, so many things he will take out. All he will keep on the table, again put in the basket. First he will show the basket empty. Then he will take out all things, so many things which cannot contain in that. Again he will put back and again show the empty basket to you and go. Like that is this universe. All things come and all things disappear. Similarly, we have the experience of dream experience. From mind or dream world comes when we are asleep. The whole dream world we experience. By the time we wake up, again it enters into the mind. From mind it projects out. Into mind it goes back. So this is, see, same way the universe projects from the absolute, returns back to the absolute. This we saw. And then Ichcha Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Jnana Shakti we saw last time. But we will again, the process of creation we will see, and we will go back and forth so that these ideas become firm in your mind. A little academic touch is there, but it is necessary. Once you get clearly, see, we are born as human, and if you don't understand where are we, what is this universe, what am I if I don't know, having born as human, what is God if I don't know, what is the use, how long to go on faith alone. Here in Hinduism, everything is not on faith. Faith has great value, but everything is on realization. Religion is realization. Everything, you realize your spiritual existence. Don't depend upon anything. Take the responsibility on your own shoulders. Nobody can do sadhana for you. Nobody can work out your karmas. Wherever you go, sukha dukkha, you alone have to experience. Similarly, you have to do your own sadhana and transcend and go. So this is what we find. Then the time concept. One thing is, one important factor that we have to know is time factor. The time, you see, how the time begins and the whole cycle transcends. Creation of the universe, passing through. Again, millions of years it takes, and again the kalpa is over, the whole universe dissolves in the absolute. Time is accompanying every point of the creation, as it every change is registered by the time. Time registers all the changes. Time is the only sakshi which has passed through Kala, the great time. All people come and go. Time will be the sakshi of all things. So this time is circular. It begins and again it accompanies. Just like a child is born, it is born like this and it comes up. In the youth it spreads up, again shrinks back, again is preparing for the next birth. It's going back. It's the same way how he came. He again same position. You will see same condition also. Somebody must help. Somebody must clean. Birth and death will be almost same. No teeth, no strength, cannot stand. Everything exactly how it came. Similarly is the universe. Similarly, every cycle that happens. The time, how the time brings to the midday and again it takes to the evening and passes through the night. So time is the Kala is Chakra. In our Hindu concept, the Indian concept of understanding, time is always a wheel. It is. Once it begins, ends, and then there is a gap. The time ends. New time again begins. Same pattern it runs. It dissolves. Again new time again begins. So time is circular, starting from a point, passing through a circle and coming back. Western concept of time is, even now, yet present also, is linear, as if it is going. Because it is any small section of a circle, if you take, it is linear. Take any segment, any arc, the smallest, because it's a millions of years, we can peep only maximum few thousand or lakhs of years. Thousands only. The Buddha was there some 5,000 years back or so. That is the maximum back we can think of Buddha's this one. So that period that we see, Buddha's period, this is all maximum history we think of. In records, it is not there again. Perhaps after Christ alone, the little of the records are there available. And Hindus never cared for history or records. Everything, because of the impermanency of all things, everything is going. What to hold on? Where is the name and form? Where is the identity? And all the sages, when they realize the self independent of body, which identity will they have? I am God. One day it is like you are identifying yourself with the clothes which you are wearing during childhood. This is myself. This is myself. Will you hold on to that cloth? Like that, they never cared for the time, that passing events. So value was given to the spiritual existence than the material existence, for the life than the history. What all the man can be taught was taught through the Puranas and Mahabharata, Ramayana. These are the greatest things which depicts the whole thing. So time is in Western concept, yet because we are taking small part of the huge circle, so it is linear. Any arc, smallest possible of a huge circle is always a straight line, linear. It looks linear. So because of that, it is still a few 100 years back, 2-3 centuries back, the Westerners came to know Earth is round. One ship was coming up the horizon. Little by little it is visible. So they came to know the earth is round. Like that, to know the time is round, circle, they may take some more millions, at least 1,000 years perhaps, to come to that level of understanding. So time is, always remember, time is circular. Then we go back to the creative process. The whole universe becomes energy, we have seen, and dissolves. Just like we sleep, leave the bodily existence, sleep, like that the whole matter of the universe becomes energy. No jiva is hurt, no jiva finds any difficulty in pralaya. Just the body disappears, dissolves, it becomes energy. You will not feel anything. Just like you are entering into sleep. More pleasant than that. So the whole universe becomes energy, and the last phase of how the universe was there, what all the things were there, how things were there, all that is in the consciousness. It is becoming energy, Shakti, power. Power has three aspects: Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Ichcha Shakti. Three aspects are there. Now, these three, as it becomes again the energy, slowly it merges in the absolute, becoming the wave of love. Ripples of love, slowly it becomes one. The whole universe has dissolved in the absolute. Just like you sleep at night, you become one with the universal consciousness. How pleasant it is. The whole universe in the same way. Microcosm and macrocosm. It is sleeping now. In that, only awake is the Kriya Shakti has dissolved. You are also, when you sleep, your Kriya Shakti dissolves in yourself. Kriya, Ichcha Shakti also dissolves. Your Jnana, which has to bring you back, this Jnana remains in the Jnana remains at the feet of God as pure awareness, one with the consciousness. Our consciousness dissolves in the absolute universal consciousness. In that universal consciousness, our jnana, whole jnana, remains as it is. It is because that's why we call our Karana Sharira is a part of the Ishvara. It remains in the Karana Sharira and we dissolve in the universal consciousness. Like that, the whole universe, the Jnana Shakti remains as it is awake. Kriya Shakti dissolves, Ichcha Shakti dissolves. Nothing exists except the whole in the Jnana Swarupa. In the consciousness, consciousness is described as Jnana also, knowledge also. Sat Chit Ananda is translated as existence, consciousness, bliss, absolute, or existence, knowledge. Don't disturb. Existence, knowledge, bliss, absolute. Both are equally valid. So consciousness is translated as jnana also, knowledge also. This knowledge and consciousness are one. Your consciousness is there, knowledge is there. So jnana, it is kriya is not there. Ichcha is not there. Jnana is there. This jnana is called Saraswati, we saw, Sharada we saw. Now, after, we can't say some time or anything, at particular moment when it is ready, because time is not there, space is not there. At a particular moment, again the creation begins. All the jiva's karma is there as it is in the, as knowledge. Remember, as knowledge. Every jiva's karma, where is it? How is it? It is in the knowledge. Karma is in the form of knowledge in the Divine Mother. How beautiful you see. The karmas, your karma which is going to give you sukha dukkha is there in the Divine Mother as just a knowledge. Icha Shakti, Jnana Shakti. Now this, in the Jnana itself, it's coming to maturity. Now you have kept a fixed deposit. In your mind, fixed deposit is there, receipt is also somewhere. In the mind, the awareness comes, oh, my FD is coming to maturity. Like that, it comes, oh, karma is coming to maturity. So like that, now this aspect triggers Kriya Shakti. Jnana Shakti is actuating the Kriya Shakti. Now Kriya Shakti immediately starts pulsation, throbbing. In the Ananta Sachidananda Sagar, there is throbbing. It is consciousness, no movement. It is not movement. When you think, it is not movement. In thinking is gross, we can say movement, but in Chaitanya, there is no movement. But there is a pulsation, throbbing, that it is going to. Now, love, as a wave of love, it spreads on all direction. Kriya Shakti. One thing you have to remember here is, wherever the term consciousness comes, Chaitanya comes, Chaitanya is always goes with will and power. Chaitanya means there is will and power in it. I am conscious. Consciousness means I have a will. I have power. Consciousness has power and will. And power always has motherhood in it. Power, Shakti always has motherhood. It can multiply, it can do, it can think, it can act. So many things. It's for motherhood is there. Motherhood means it causes. Motherhood doesn't mean a progeny alone must come through. I am mother of my actions. I am mother of my thought. It's coming out from me. Anything that comes out, anything multiplies, anything that expands, becomes, I am the mother of that. So, in the motherhood comes, is always there in the Shakti. Now, Jnana Shakti has triggered the Kriya Shakti. Kriya Shakti is going as waves of love. How beautiful you see. In the ocean of bliss. And this love, the content of the love is bliss. Content of the wave of love, what it contains is bliss, Ananda. Ananda Lehari is going in the Ananda Sagara. In that moments, the love and bliss, Ananda, together are there. It awakens the motherhood. Motherhood. In the motherhood awakens, motherhood, and in the Jnana Shakti, previous cycles, end point is there. Reflection of the last phase of the creation. This motherhood and the Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti, they together, they trigger the Icha Shakti. Kriya Shakti has awakened, Jnana Shakti is there. And motherhood has come into picture because of these two, and they awaken the Icha Shakti. Now Icha Shakti awakens the power of volition. Spontaneous, volitive resolution comes. I'll become many. I'll become many. The moment the bliss and the love projects, I want to become many. Now, this is the almost the beginning of, we can say, beginning of the creation. But in the absolute, Ananta Sachidananda Sagara, there cannot be anything. Because it is consciousness, it's absolute. There cannot be movement, there cannot be anything other than the Ananda Sagara. So, this power that is spreading, it has gained stability and moving as, when it gains stability, it's called Paranada. As Paranada, it's flowing, when the Icha Shakti says, I'll become many, and it cannot become many because it is one without a second. Immediately it traces back its from which point it projected as wave of love, it contracts immediately to that point. And because in this realm of consciousness, nothing can be there, she creates a realm of herself. From inside, she projects, opens up. You see, nothing can be there in the absolute, so she herself blows up. If nothing can be there, multiplicity cannot be there. If jivas cannot be there, I will have it within me. I will become that. I will become that. So from within she expands. First, before she cannot exist without consciousness at any level. Jivas to be there also, inside consciousness must be there. So she starts spinning. At that point, when she shrinks to the point, bindu, the energy is becoming concentrated at bindu. One point she has become concentrated now. She wants to multiply now. This, because consciousness is necessary at every point of her expansion, she starts spinning like a top. She spins, a whirlpool like. When she spins, when in the river, when you see whirlpool, it opens up. And air, it sucks in the air. Whirlpool always sucks in whatever is above. Like that, while she's spinning, she drags that consciousness with her and it starts expanding from inside. Because she gets the space, consciousness is there now inside. With her, at every moment with her, that consciousness is there. Now, from within she expands. The spinning begins the time. Now, this internal expansion becomes the space, akasha. Time and space comes into picture. The expansion creates space. Here, any multiplicity can be there. This is an entirely different realm compared to the other. It has nothing to do with the absolute. She is the mistress of this whole play. She is playing now. She can do and undo anything she wants. But in her, Jnana Shakti is the ending phase of the previous cycle. She wants to create the same thing because Jiva, the creation is only for the sake of Jivas. It's pending and this one is going to again come to that picture. Wherever it has stopped, it has to start again for the sake of Jivas. Do you understand? Clearly keep in your mind what these are treasures which you will not find in any book or anywhere. One day you will transcend the nature and go beyond and tap from the Vedas, the eternal Vedas. Then you will get it again. So this time and space comes into picture. Do you understand? The consciousness is necessary at every point of the mother's moving expansion. Now, in this universe, whatever is there, how does it create? What happens? There are three things you see. One is, there is jivas are there to perceive. Perception must be there, jnana must be there. Every object must reveal itself to the other. The revelation, this must reveal to me, I must be able to perceive it. Perceiving and revealing, the two aspects are called cognition. Cognitive system. There is cognitive system. It gives me jnana. I understand. I discern. I understand. So this understanding, knowledge aspect what comes is a system by itself. Then there is movement. Everything is moving, everything is a flux. Without movement, there cannot exist because it is in the time. Time means its movement is there. Everything is a continuous moving flux, non-stop, eternally till the creation ends. You can see every atom, the electrons, protons, how they are spinning, how they exist. Like that, every object, everything in the universe is under constant motion. There is knowledge, cognition, there is movement, and there is inert matter. These are inert matter. Inert matter, why do we say? Because consciousness is not expressed. Consciousness is withdrawn, withheld. Consciousness is withheld. It is not expressed. This is not shown. So it remains inert. The three things we see in the universe: life apart from movement, knowledge aspect, there is life, mind and matter. Matter is there, mind is there, and life is there. Matter is where consciousness is not expressed. Consciousness is not expressed. It is hidden. It is in dormant state. Consciousness is in dormant state. It is there, inexpressed. One day you will be able to see with the spiritual eyes, consciousness is there. This is all consciousness itself. You will be able to see. Name and form is just in. But now at our stage of movement, actions and all, this is inert. Conscious is not expressed. In mind, when it pervades the mind, it acts as conscious. You see, in conscious is not there. When it pervades, it becomes, you are now fan. When current goes, it starts moving. Like that, mind is there, in which consciousness is not there, but it allows the consciousness to pervade, and mind starts working consciously. Okay? And another is always conscious. This consciousness passes through waking, dreaming and deep sleep. Again comes to waking, dreaming. This consciousness is withdrawn and projected. It's a conscious being. Life is there, matter is there, mind is there. Three things are there in this universe. Now whatever exists in this is made up of these three entities, we can say, or forces. One is cognition, one is movement, one is inert. These three, Mother herself becomes the movement, Mother herself becomes the cognition, understanding, jnana. Mother herself becomes the inert gross matter. These three are called sattva, raja, tamas. Important part of the Indian philosophy, Triguna, and to become Trigunatita, go beyond the three gunas. So, Sattva is wherever that goodness, light, understanding, happiness, joy, everything is there, it is Sattva. Rajas, wherever activities, movements, things are there, it is Rajas. Wherever inert, immovable, inertia, lethargy, all these things are there, it is Tamas. Do you understand the things? Mother has become this. Mother has become, their power has become. After the Bindu, she shrinks into Bindu, and from which she expands. From Bindu onwards, she is no more called as energy. She is called as the Divine Mother. Because she is going to produce the whole universe and all of us. We are all the part of her creation. From her, we are in her womb now, at all times. She is expanded as the universe. She herself has. This is the greatest, considered as the greatest sacrifice. Mother is giving herself. It's Balidan. Self mutilation, you can say, or mutation. She mutates herself, she mutilates herself and mutates herself to become this universe. She is sacrificing herself. This is considered as the greatest sacrifice because there is nothing can exist in the absolute. She herself becomes the universe. She creates a space in her and a time concept so that absolute doesn't get affected by its existence, and she is there holding all the entire universe. In this, every object is made of the three gunas. There is, I said, matter is there, mind is there, and matter, mind, and life is there. We see sattva, raja, guna, tamas in all these aspects. There cannot exist any object in this universe, anything in this universe, without the three gunas together. Even if one guna is missing from any object, immediately it becomes energy and dissolves in the absolute. It cannot exist. Three gunas must be there. The predominance will be there. At least little of the sattva is there in the matter also. Sattva. It is maximum tamas, 99% tamas. Internal activities going on, electronic level, electrons are moving about, rajas is there, and sattva is not to be very, but it is there. It is giving some ananda to somebody who sees at least. That sattva is there. Sattva, rajas, tamas is there. One will be predominant. In matter, you see, when sunlight, flowing river, beautiful scenes, all this becomes the part of rivers. Whatever gives joy and peace, stars at night, these are all sattva aspect. They are all sattva, sattvic things. Then volcanoes, you can see, they are rajasic. The light it is emitting is sattva. The lava it is flowing is rajas. It has become the stone in the other part, rock it has become, that is tamas. At one place you can see all the three. So a block of stone is tamas. These things are flowing river is rajas. The river, if it becomes frozen, the rajas has become into the tamas. How you see? In matter also. Similarly, in mind also. Tranquility, peace, joy, all these in the mind are sattvika. Anger, restlessness, dissatisfaction, dislike, all these things are rajasika. Lethargy, sleepiness, laziness, all these things are tamasic. In mind also we find the sattva, raja, tamas. Sometimes I will be sattvic, sometimes I will be tamasic, because one predominates, one can get converted into another, one can suppress other, and suddenly the sleepiness, I have taken lot of food, 20 chapatis I ate, and then I feel sleepy now. Now tamas is raising and suppressing my sattva. One can predominate over the other. This matter. Life also, lifestyle. There is sattvic life of going to temple, getting up in the morning, all things, regulated life, beautiful life, going for morning walk. All whoever comes, guests, whoever you see on the way, trying to see divine in them, serving them, all this lifestyle is sattvika. Running about from morning till night, trying to get something, rajasic. is sitting all the time lazily. No work anywhere. He doesn't want to do. Somebody earns and he will leave. Ram deta hai, Ram khata hai. So that kind of life is tamasic life. Style of life also. All this life, matter and mind has the, and you see, you can cultivate humans. See what is a greatness of man, you see. He can cultivate, like cultivating the land, he can cultivate any guna. These are called gunas. Sattva is the gunas. Any guna in him, any time. I can cultivate tamasic guna. I can cultivate rajasic guna. I can cultivate sattvic guna. Depending upon, sometimes my duty may require me to be tamasic. Excessive anger I may have to show. And I am in military, suppose. The terrorists are killing my people. How I must become the excessive, it is tamasic. I am going to become tamasic now. Like Rakshasa I am going to become. I may need to fight with my own inner enemies. I may have to become tamasic or rajasic to take severe steps. No, I will not sleep. All these things are, we can cultivate. Similarly, I want to be sattvic with all people moving about. Never to see any defects or dislike or have any complaint. What I can do, how can I serve? If some bad person is there, how can I serve him? If good person is there, how can I serve him? The thing is, my part, what is he is immaterial to me. What I am, I have to be sattvic, means I must be able to serve the bad person or a good person also. That is sattvikata. So I can cultivate anything, but ultimate thing is to go beyond the three gunas, sattva, raja, tama, and become the Trigunatita. In Bhagavad Gita, one chapter itself is there, Trigunatita. So, to transcend the Trigunas, you are unaffected by Sattva, Raja, Tama. You are in the Ananda Swarupa. Sattva comes and hits you. Rajas comes and hits you. Tamas comes and hits you. It's carrying you. But internally, you are unaffected by all this. You are your own self. This is called the Trigunatita state. When it happens, you transcend the nature and go beyond and know your own self independent of all external things. Okay, this is the Sattva, Raja, Tama part of the whole thing. An important part of our Indian culture. See how systematically the sages have formulated the path to God, path to liberation. It is not something I tell, you follow. You reason out, you work out, you realize, see and tell others. This is the thing we have got all this through. We have been attending to. All right, today's we can stop here, I think. Can we say that our DNA somehow resembles with transformation of information, knowledge from one generation to the next in our evolutionary process, which never extinguish with one body? No. Because DNA is the bodily existence is continuing. What happens to the soul? Scholastic existence. We have two existences. Bodily existence, the Darwin theory and all are connected with the bodily existence. DNA is concerned with the bodily existence, physical existence, body mind. Apart from that spirit, I am living in this body. How does the soul evolve? This life, I might have got this body. Next life, I may get a dog's body. I don't know what is my karma. Then I may become a bird and fly in the sky. I may become a fish in water. What is my next birth? Where the soul is going. Soul is SIM card and mobile, the body is mobile in which you are going to put the SIM card. You can change. SIM card doesn't get changed. SIM card continue. Whatever SIM card it goes. The body doesn't matter. The tower will not recognize your body. It recognizes only SIM card. In whichever body you put the SIM card, it recognizes. Wherever be the SIM card, it recognizes. Tower recognizes. Like that, here when we say knowledge, when I sleep, the knowledge is kept at the feet of God. When I say, it is in the causal body, one with the universal causal body, the Ishvara, when I say, it is not the DNA. It is the knowledge of my past, present and future at the scholastic existence, independent of bodily existence. DNA is concerned with the bodily continuation of the particular species. Species is continuing. I won't be coming into, suppose I have become a donkey last life. Chimpo, I was doing. I am not going to become a donkey again. Now I become human. So the species I am going to, the DNA has nothing to do with me. My scholastic existence. Then DNA you must give a different definition. Divinity, nature, something like that. DNA, you must explain that in some other terms because it is concerned with the scholastic existence. Anything else? Then, so this is what we remember, the whole process of microcosm and macrocosm. Just like you sleep, you lose everything completely. The whole universe dissolves in the absolute. You dissolve in the universal consciousness. Universe with the universal consciousness, Ishvara, dissolves in the absolute. We will go by various stages of evolutionary process and see how the Divine Mother, from the separating from the absolute, how she goes on changing her form. Now at this stage of creation, the first projection, the time has come into picture and space is evolving. There is pure divinity. This stage is called Satyam Shivam Sundaram. When she is become Bindu, she is called Bindu Vasini. When she contracts into a Bindu to create the another realm of existence, she is called Bindu Vasini. Before that she is called Adya Shakti, Chit Shakti. How the various aspects the Divine Mother is holding and coming, you see. Then she becomes when the creation is about to come, all the beauty that is going to be there in the creation, it is there in her, in the causal form. And this is called, she is called Mahatripura Sundari. We will see all these aspects of Divine Mother, Parameshwari, Maheshwari, one by one, how the Parameshwara, the consciousness and the power, how they beautifully, when we give the name and Parameshwara and Parameshwari, you should not bring gender aspect or anything. It is consciousness. It is power of consciousness. Now, hydrogen and oxygen. Hydrogen oxygen, I put in a beaker and ignite it. Light, one lighted stick I take, buck, it will blast. Hydrogen burns, oxygen supports the combustion. Now, the moment it bursts, oxygen is also a gas, hydrogen is also a gas. I light it, it blasts, and we get immediately water there. Both are gases. Now, water, H2O, it contains oxygen and hydrogen together, fused into water. Like that, the Chaitanya and power are getting, we are telling consciousness as he and she, you should not get confused. You should not bring gender or this one. Then we will give the forms also. Divine Mother looks like this, Divine Mother looks like that. Just like anthropomorphic pictures we will give. I will keep 10 hands to show how much power is there and all. But the symbolization and the actual visualization of the sages are different from the. So when you conceive, it conceives as the consciousness itself, Chaitanya itself. Considers as a power itself, as a Shakti. You have power. You can lift. That power, just to understand, Divine Mother means its power. Parameshwara means its consciousness. It is consciousness, Chaitanya. Okay? Does Triguna affect Viveka? If so, how do we censure that we always stay in Satoguna? Trigunas, does it affect Viveka? Viveka is called Viveka, discriminative power, because it is not affected by the three gunas. It can manage. This is a part of intellect. Intellect, a particular faculty, particular aspect of intellect which can discriminate between good and bad, between right and wrong, between Nitya and Anitya, eternal and passing, ephemeral. So, this which can distinguish the faculty in us, which is a part of intellect, intellect takes that part. It has different aspects. One of the aspects is Viveka. Viveka is not going to get affected by the Triguna because it belongs to Sattva. Mind, senses belong to Sattva. Karmendriya belong to Rajas. Physical bodily existence belongs to Tamas. Mind, intellect, Sattvamsha is born from Sattvamsha of the Prakriti. We will come to that later on. The five Pancha Tanmatras, they get converted, how the 24 cosmic principles come into existence. Viveka is a part of intellect which is light of existence. So it is not affected by Triguna, means it is a part of the Triguna, Sattva. Tamas binds, Rajas also binds. It binds in different ways. Tamas binds through ignorance, through lethargy and all that. Rajas binds through desires, activities. Sattva also binds through goodness, through love, through compassion. It binds. But this binding is meant to release from the Tamas and Rajas. The Tamas is killed by Rajas, Rajas is killed by Sattva. Remember, if there is excessive tamas, you have to overcome it by rajas. And if you are rajasic by nature, then you have to bring sattva into picture and destroy the rajas in you. Then sattva will be make you to surrender to God, who releases you from the sattva also. Sattva is the one thing, it takes you to the gate of God, and God lifts you from there. So, be clear about sattva, raja, tamas always. This important thing is, now in those days of sadhana early, about 40 years back, when I was in Bangalore ashrama, for 12 years I did not sleep at night. Daytimes I used to manage sleeping 2-3 hours somehow, because I had most of the time I was in puja, so I used to get sufficient time in the afternoon here, there. I used to steal some time and sleep. Night, whole nights, not even a single day I've slept for 12 years. Nights I used to use totally, because tamas will overpower. I will feel like sleeping. So I used to walk, whole night I used to walk. Rajas will kill tamas. Now also I find difficult to sleep at night. Oh, time is going, life is going. Should I can do something. I can give something to somebody. Should I spend time in sleep? Again and again. See, that tamas, to destroy that tamas, months together, years together, I walked, whole night I walked. Through rajas, I could overcome that tamas. And sitting for prayer, weeping at the feet of God, we can overcome the rajas also. Any desire in the world, anything to run about, we come out of through prayer, through japa, through studies. These are sattvic supports to overcome the rajas, to find fault in others, to fight, to dislike. All these are rajas. I have to come out of the rajas. So prayer, love of God, trying to see divine in others, all these help sattva. And then you will see the helping hand. The moment you stand in sattva, you will see the helping hand of God coming and trying to lift you. Come my child, hold, walk like this, walk like this. So this is the path by which we go. How can we go beyond the three gunas? It is to be indifferent to the things happening around. No. We cannot be indifferent, because our karmic load demands. We are born with karma. Sri Ramakrishna says, this world is karma bhumi. We have come here to exhaust our karmas. We cannot be indifferent to anything. Our own evolution or others' happiness, we cannot be indifferent. If the neighbor is suffering, my duty is to rush. I cannot be indifferent. So many people are working and cooking. My need may not be there, but to go and stretch an helping hand is my concern. I show my concern. I cannot be indifferent. My actions must be sattvic. Sattvikata, it must express. Wherever you go, the sattvikata is based on the manifestation of divinity. How divine you are, how much divine you are able to see. So, all activities will continue as you are. All relationships will continue as they are. But your attitude alone will change towards work, towards people, towards this world. Nothing is to be changed. Everything is in perfect order in this universe. God is managing this world. My inner vasanas are showing him as bad, him as good, him as this. My vasanas are showing, because I am interested in my gains. It doesn't help my gain. It doesn't match with my nature. So I call it bad. There is nothing bad or good in this world. Karma and karma phala alone. So nature will decide. But my decisions are always dependent on. Now, if I come to the sattvikata, then all this will come to an end. There is no more problems. I have to manifest divinity. I have to bring out these things. Okay? Don't change your life, change your attitude. We need to change only attitude. Good man will immediately look like divine, and bad man will look like good for you if you change your attitude towards the world. This is the main thing is, I must change, the world will change. I cannot expect the world to change according to my mind and my, no, it will not change. It is God has registered it, how it has to move, what each person has to do. I can ask that person, don't do like that. But will I be able to take responsibility of that person? Will I be able to give realization to that person? He will live according to me. I can't. I can tell, I can force, I can bring military. Don't open your doors. But can I give realization? Let them grow in their own way. We'll pray and offer. Okay? Although we love God, it does not seem to generate adequate vairagya. We are only reluctantly able to give up desires. How do we get strong vairagya? Vairagya is a beautiful term, most misunderstood in this world. Vairagya, viraga. Raga is passion. Dispassion is called vairagya. The vairagya means not hatred. I don't want this world. I shun it. I push it away. This is not vairagya. This is dvesha. I want it is asakti, raga. Raga and dvesha. Where raga dvesha is not there, I neither push it away nor hold it, then it is vairagya. Viraga is a state of mind in which I am udasina. There is neither asakti nor dvesha. I don't say, no, this is this, I don't want. I have no interest in it. If I say, I don't want masala dosa, I will not eat. It is harmful to my spiritual practices. Something. This is not vairagya. My family life I want to give up. This is not vairagya. Vairagya is a different thing. I am indifferent to that. That is, if it is there, it is there. If it is not there, it is not there. Because it is there, I am not going to hold. Nor it is going away, I am not going to drag it. I want, I cannot live without it. It is not, also not there. If it is not there, it is not there. If it is there. Now, when you are going in a street, there is a house. You see it. You don't have an idea it should be there or not. So many stones are there in this street you go. Pebbles are there, mud is there, trees are there, dust is there. So many things are there. You are indifferent. You have vairagya towards that. Vairagya. You don't want that to be there or not to be there. This is vairagya. Viraga is a state in which you transcend raga dvesha. You have neither raga nor dvesha. It's a state where you have gained some amount of equanimity towards the two. Sukha dukkha, when sukha comes also is not affected, dukkha comes also is not affected. When mana apmana, you are trying to see equanimity, labha hani, all these aspects count to make you vairagya, get vairagya. Vairagya is basically equanimity, manifestation of inner divinity. It is nothing to be shunned here and gone away. Everything is divine. So, a clear understanding of Vairagya we must have. Then only, see, why did, so you may ask me, why did you leave your home and go away then? The question usually comes. If Vairagya is the equanimity, why should you not have lived with your family? Why did you leave and come? You could have remained in the office work. You could have remained with the family. Sri Ramakrishna says to somebody, you get married to 100 people, I am not worried. You will not be drowned. Like that. When you are not going to be drowned, what is the fear of this world? You may say, but the thing is, as you grow, you cannot have that small family as mine and live in that atmosphere. What happens is, you start expanding. One fish you bring, a small bowl is enough for it to live and enjoy. It will be swimming around and playing. Whenever you give food, it will eat. When it grows a little, it cannot move about. It starts suffering. It is not that it wants to go away somewhere, but it has grown beyond its limit, size of the bowl. Now you have to put it in a trough. When you put it in a trough, it again moves about. When it grows still, then you need a tank. When you put in a big tank, it will fully move. When it grows to the tank size also, it cannot live there. You have to leave it in the river now. So it is not renouncing and going away. It is overgrowing and coming out. Overgrowing and come out. The real sannyasa is growing beyond limits, beyond. You are going from small family, the whole world is going to become your family. Why not? If your whole world, if you are going to embrace as my family, what is a sannyasi? I told the other day, if you open a person and see all his family problems, this, that, office, this, there's so many things, you immediately you'll close and run away. Such things are there inside. If you open a sannyasi, real sannyasi I mean, nothing is empty. If at all you find something, you may find his Ishtadevata or divinity. That is the difference. Nothing is inside, this is Vairagya. Everything is outside, nothing is inside. Like that, that is the Vairagya. If the universe appears as is after Pralaya, how is it related to 4 yugas? With yugas, the Pralaya won't be there. After every 4 yugas, Pralaya won't be there. The 4 years are one cycle. It is like our seasons. This is dharma and adharma season. When we say season, it is temperature. Winter is the coldest, and when temperature is lowest, we call winter. When temperature is highest, we call summer. Similarly, when the dharma is minimum, we call Kali Yuga. When dharma is maximum, we call Satya Yuga. So, dharma's season like. Dharma expands, dharma contracts. That particular season, that much temperature must be there. So, if it imbalances in Kali Yuga, how much adharma must be there, how much dharma must be there. If it goes beyond, then God has to come down to make it balanced to the particular level which it should be there. Dharma adharma will remain within that limits. So, these are yugas are one season is over, that is all. It is not the time for pralaya. Pralaya happens in thousands of yugas. After 1,000 yuga, you will see once the universe is going to sleep and again wake up. Whole day, at night we sleep, morning we wake up. Like that. Every hour we will not sleep, you see. So every yuga doesn't come into the pralaya at all. Pralaya is concerned with, and the knowledge remains as it is. And as, just like when you sleep, what was inside you? The knowledge, the tendencies, the desires, ambitions, with all that, how you slept, when you wake up, the same thing will be there. It will not change. I had slept yesterday, morning I forgot everything. I don't know who am I, will not happen. With the same, as you slept, you come out. Like that universe, as it entered, it comes out. That's all the thing. Pralaya. Alright. We'll end today. We'll meet again on Sunday. Utilize all the time. Don't waste time. I find every second so precious. Every second of my life I feel so precious. Now, I will rush to my room to write what I have told you and send for typing. I sleep 3-4 hours at night. I sleep at 11. I get up at around 3 o'clock and attend to my things non-stop. 5 minutes, 2 minutes if I get. Football is over. By the time other people come, there is 2 minutes, 3 minutes, I will sit and write. I will utilize what I have to do. So, don't waste time. You will not understand. Now, the time seems to be so this one, but we have to go a long journey to reach the ultimate goal. The faster we do, without wasting time, we will be early in our life, as early as possible. We have to finish the task. When the old age comes, it will be very difficult. If you have acquired sufficient momentum, you can drag the finish up somehow. Otherwise, starting at a later age is very difficult. And every moment counts. For having wasted few seconds, you may miss realization in this life. Why should we? We will go as kings. We will go as emperors. हे प्रार्थना देश से यह स्वर्ग सम संसार हो, अति उच्चतम जीवन बने, परमार्थमय व्यवहार हो, ना हम रहे अपने लिए, हमको सभी से गर्ज है, गुरुदेव ये आशीष दो, जो सोचने का फर्ज है, हम हो पुजारी तत्व के, गुरुदेव के आदेश के, सच प्रेम के, नित नेम के, सधर्म के, सत्कर्म के, हो चीड़ झूठी राह की, अन्याय की, अभिमान की, सेवा करन में दास की, परवाह नहीं हो जानकी, छोटे न हो हम बुद्धि से, हो विश्वमय से ईशमय, हो राममय और कृष्णमय, जगदेवमय जगदीशमय, हर इंद्रियों पर ताब कर, हम वीर हो अति वीर हो, उज्ज्वल रहे सरस
से सदा निज धर्म रथ खंभीर हो, अति शुद्ध हो आचार से तन मन हमारा सर्वदा, अध्यात्म की शक्ति हमें पल भी नहीं कर दे जुदा। इस अमर आत्मा का हमें हर श्वास भर में गत रहे, गर मौत भी तो आ गई, सुख दुख हमसे सम रहे, गर मौत भी तो आ गई, सुख दुख हमसे सम रहे, सुख दुख हमसे सम रहे।